Hey everyone, Matt's Mox here, and no, I'm not saying goodbye, YouTube. I'm not Matt, Pat, or Tom, Scott, or those guys. Today we're actually talking about Collegeville and Southern, now numbered 75. Uh, this engine, of course, I acquired from the CNS to restore and use and convert to 2-foot gauge, but also have it so it could go back to 18-inch. And I have been slowly working on it. I couldn't do too much, but we did electrical test, and it turns out the motor don't work. So that's kind of like a big deal. But I'm going to go over more. Well, might as well just go over it now. The original drive was a 115 volt AC 30 amp power from the generator fed through a crane controller to a motor from a drill. Now, the electronics on that thing are pretty much screwed. Like, they're just all, it all has to come apart. So it needs to be entirely redone electrically. Mechanically, it doesn't have a brake because it used a cable brake instead, which will have to be replaced with a real hand brake. But the drivetrain for the gears and belt system is fully freed up, and it rolls real good. And you can even turn the belt and it'll just roll. So it's convenient in that way. The body is good, but the frame needs to be widened by 2 inches on each side in order to convert it to 24-inch gauge from its current state of 18. So, you might be wondering, why am I standing on top of this blue block and against this notebook? Well, along with the rebuild of its operating capacity, I've also sketched up my future plan for it roughly. It will become a battery electric fully, but there will be a space for a generator to be mounted in, so it could have gas electric capabilities, and converted from AC power to DC with a 24 or 12 volt motor from a golf cart. And that would just be a lot more reliable and easier to work with. So, as you can see, this is what it'll look like when it's done. Lettered up for the railroad, but with its new number, and of course, my signature thing put on the front. And it'll have a full cab. I do have that bell. It's sitting in my room here. I gotta make the headlights, but the rear tail light will actually be my Redding G1 tail light, which would be very nice. It would be 24-inch gauge. It would still roughly look the same. It would have a lot of new upgrades, and the paint scheme would be light gray as a base. Then the striping, which will be 2-inch thick on each side, will be dark blue. Or not dark blue, I'm sorry, dark gray. And then it'll have this nice blue in the middle. The lettering will be white. Then the frame will be black with yellow yellow bearings. And on the back, I'm going to retain the original yellow and black safety stripes, but it's going to end right where the original wall ends to show how it, a little bit about its history. And of course, where the moniker M&AX 75, because, it's part of the roster. The cab will have, of course, the new controls. It'll have a new amperage and also a voltage gauge. Probably, if I can, also a something that says the battery power percent, but that might be too complex. That's fine if it doesn't. Although, yeah, it will have a foam seat put down on the metal one. It'll be a nice vinyl foam seat, so when you're going along, it's not as painful. You'll genuinely want to be in there. The windows will have window glass of some sort, with the front and rear having a manual windshield wiper, because it is nice to have a windshield wiper if it's raining. On the cab roof will be a openable vent, which just allows hot air to escape. And of course, you might notice this little thing hanging there near the bell. That is a fan, that right there. It will have a fan that's electrically driven. I know most guys with 2-footers, you know, they prefer, or even all these small gauges, they prefer just open air, dying in the heat. But, you know, having a fan is a nice little touch. Obviously, the side window opens. On the other side with the door, there could be a piece of canvas that's like on a rack thing. It has magnets, so like you could pull it close and magnet it shut. That way, if it's raining out and you gotta leave the engine out, you could just close it all up and it'll be fine. Of course, one thing I do want to make is sort of using the laser etcher before they change it out, an aluminum Coley for the front, but it'll just be kind of like the shaping with the M&A in it. I think I will paint it. It would be really neat to hang off a new mesh front. Yeah, this would look pretty good. But, and of course, the bell will not be painted. The bell is currently not painted. It's that nice brass finish that then has been clear coated a few times. So, you know, it's going to look really sharp. The front headlight will probably be made out of a bucket, which I need to get from work. So, that will be fun. But, yeah, that's really it for this video. It's going to have an entire new power system because the current one doesn't really work. I will be using the original controller. I have to rebuild it and make sure that it's going to work right. And I hope to use the original horn, though if I could get like a mine buzzer instead of, I think that's an Awooga horn, you know, the automobile horn, I would love to do that. So, that's enough rambling about a 2-foot gauge locomotive. I'll see you all next time.